Hello, everyone. This is Deric, founder of KriTech Solutions. Today, I'm going to be discussing and demonstrating a KriTech Solutions estimate audit tool. Now, before we get started today, some of you may be asking, what is the estimate audit tool? I've heard from some that they believe it's an estimate scrubber that can show you the missing operations and what you've left off your estimate. That's not the case. What estimate audit tool is a comparison tool, which will simultaneously read and compare two different estimates to show you what the differences are. So as an example, let's say you've written a $5,000 estimate, you've sent it off to an insurance carrier, and they've sent you back a $3,000 estimate. So what are you currently doing now to figure out what the differences are, what they left off, or what they didn't pay you for? In most cases, people are sitting there with two different estimates side by side and multicolored highlighters trying to go line for line to figure out what the differences are. Well, that's exactly what the audit tool is going to do for you. And I'm going to show you that today. So we'll get started now, and I will show you two different estimates that I have pre-selected. So we have here an estimate on a Jeep Wrangler from Geico Insurance. This estimate here is roughly about 73 lines long for a total of about $3,300. And we have an estimate from the shop here on the same vehicle. Their estimate's 95 lines long for a total of about $4,600. So we have some differences there, and we're going to go ahead and use the audit tool to find those differences. Okay, so we would open up the estimate audit tool and choose Insurance PDF. So I click that and I choose where I've pre-saved my estimate here and double click the Geico estimate. Now I'm going to choose the shop estimate here. Double click that. Now the system is simultaneously reading both of those estimates to determine what the differences are. Now, because this is software, we cannot program human logic and the software cannot guess. So we, in some cases, need your help matching up some of the items that the system may not have been able to match up. So we've developed two very quick steps for you to assure accuracy. So as the estimator here, if the system's not able to match up anything, we give you the ability to do so. So notice on the left-hand side here, we have all of the lines from the shop estimate that are left over. And on the right-hand side, we have all of the leftover lines from the insurance company's estimate that were not matched to anything on the shop's estimate. So if you recall, the insurance estimate was 73 lines. We only have about 14 left here. So it was actually able to match up the vast majority of the estimate. But it needs to know if any of these lines here match to any of the lines here. So in this step, we're going to take whatever line number they have. If it does correspond over here, we're going to enter it into the box here. So their first line is R&I grill. Well, I know I've addressed the grill, so we'll come over here, our grill section. We have overhaul grill. Okay, so we're going to take their line 24 and we're going to put it right here. Yes, there's a difference between R&I and overhaul, and we know that. However, we're not trying to match up the operation. We're matching up the part to show that there is a difference in either the part price or the operation in which we're doing. Next, they have the right and left fog lamps that are being R&I'd. Well, I know I've done that as well, but there are multiple bumpers on this vehicle, and we have chosen different bumpers or different fog lights, and so the system didn't match it up, so we're going ahead and having to match it up there. Last but not least, we have some miscellaneous operations. So I'll go ahead and start matching those up here. For the alignment was 70. So you're just literally matching up whatever line they have to a corresponding line that you may have on yours. In some cases, they may have something on their estimate that you don't have on yours. In that case, you're not going to be able to match it to anything, and you don't need to. Just move on. This system is intended to show you all the differences, whether it matches to something or doesn't. So that was the first step there. Now that we've selected everything and hit next step, it's reanalyzing the estimates with the changes that we've made. And the second and final step will pop up here in just a second. In the second final step, there's not really anything you need to do to correct the report. It's just how you want the report laid out. So there's two things that you can do here. You can remove anything you don't want to show up on the report for whatever reason. You can also add line notes if you need to whatever you want to say here. So in the first section here, we have shop estimate versus insurance estimate. What this means is that we both have the operation, but something's different in some way. So you can see here in the first example, the insurance company has overhaul front bumper for 2.8. The shop has overhaul front bumper for 2.2. Again, there's different bumpers on this vehicle, and we have selected different ones. Who's right? I don't know. You as the shop need to make that decision. But here, you can either leave it here and let them know that they've chosen the wrong one, or you can come over here and remove it from the report by putting a check mark in this box. It highlights in red, and that indicates that it won't show up on the report. Next, we have the front bumper here, where they have 347. We're looking for 410, so we have a parts price increase. Maybe you're going to send this back and you want to have a note here that says, see attached invoice, and you can send that over with this report to document your parts price increase. Other reasons why things might come up in this section, again, they have R&I left trim bezel, we have replace. Maybe you want to have a note in there, see attached invoice and damaged photo, right? We have right here the R&I grill versus our overhaul grill. So it shows they have R&I grill for 0.6. We have overhaul for 2.0. Maybe you need to have see additional photos or additional damages to the grill. Another reason something might show up right here is our park turn lamp. Well, we both have the price for $86.15. The labor is included. However, theirs is labeled as aftermarket, ours is not. So maybe we don't want this on the report for whatever reason. Nobody owes anything, so we'll just go ahead and remove that. So that's the first section. Everything we both have, but different in some way. The second section here is repair lines missing from shop estimate. This indicates that the insurance company had something on their estimate that the shop didn't have on theirs. That was not the case in this example, as we were able to match up everything from one side to the other on this one. The last section here from repair lines missing from insurance estimate, this is everything that the shop had operation and parts wise on their estimate that the insurance company didn't address in any way, shape, or form. So you don't want to remove any of those. So we'll go ahead and hit next step, and this is where it's going to finalize the report. As you can see, an invoice popped up as well. So this is an invoice we give you to try and get reimbursed for going through the auditing process. Okay. Here's the report. We'll go ahead and enlarge that here, and we'll take a look. This is laid out in the same basic steps as the previous step that you saw. Here, we're going to give you the shop information. You've got the vehicle VIN and claim number here. Okay, and again, this first section is everything we had but different. Notice we keep the color and everything in to show the deficiencies or where the differences are. We also give you the line number, so it's easy to know what line it is they need to go back to. For example, the bumper cover here, where we need an additional parts price increase, they know it's their line number 3. So everything that we have in this top section that's different. Here's that R&I grill versus the overhaul, as you can see. We also give you a subtotal at the bottom of each section here. So you'll see here they still owe us $343.36 in parts price differences and 2.6 in labor. Again, repair lines missing from shop estimate. There's nothing there, so it's blank. And then the last section, repair lines missing from insurance estimate. Again, this is everything they didn't address in any way, shape, or form. Notice that we put it back into their headers, so it's easy to see what was missed in the front bumper, the grille section, the front lamp section, and so on. And then we give you the subtotals where they still owe us $457.30, 2.9 in labor, and 3.3 in refinish. Last but not least, we give you a total section where you've got the labor rates and any differences, and then it breaks down to give you a total difference of $1348.90. So now, just in a couple short minutes, I have an entire itemized report listing out every difference between these two estimates. And maybe I, as the shop, want to send this back to the insurance adjuster rather than going through the rekey process and then writing a supplement. I can just send this report right back, almost like a supplement summary, to indicate what I haven't been paid for and to discuss, hey, I either need to get paid for this or explain to me why you're not paying me. Or perhaps you are doing the rekey process. And in that rekey process, uh, for the vast majority, you are removing items to rekey that estimate, meaning that in order to write your supplement, you need to be adding those back on. And chances are you may forget something when you're adding things back on. So after doing an audit report, you have a full report of an itemized listing of everything you'll need to add back on as your supplement. So that is a brief demonstration of the estimate audit tool and a couple different ways that you can use it. So I want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.